Hi, my name is Jane Powell. Welcome to Community Connections. This is a show showcasing community involvement brought to you by the Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation. I have a great guest today, and I'm so excited to hear more about your organization. Jennifer Waggener, Executive Director of Faith in Action of Greater Kanawha Valley. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
So I know you have so much to tell me, and what you're doing is really quite remarkable. But first of all, give me the broad view. What is Faith in Action?
Sure. It's always amazing to me how many people have never heard of us because I feel like we are everywhere all the time.
But you're kind of new.
Yeah, we are new. We'll be 4 years old in May. So we started in 2014, and we are a service that tries to fill in the gaps from some of the programs that are available for senior citizens in our community. There are lots of great programs and services that are out there, but sometimes they can be difficult to qualify for. You might make $12 a month too much. You might live 10 miles outside of the geographic area they serve. Whatever the reason, you might not have the right Medicaid program that you're on to be able to qualify for transportation, for example. So what we do is we try to fill in those gaps in services that exist. We are a 100% volunteer program. Everybody that works with us is a volunteer. We take senior citizens to medical appointments, to the grocery store. We do friendly visits. We do telephone reassurance calls. Just a whole array of services that are aimed at helping seniors age in place safely and with confidence and live independently as long as they can and want to.
So when you say telephone reassurance call, is that just a hi, how are you, I'm checking in on you today?
Well, that's interesting that you asked that question. It's one of my favorite services that we offer, and here's why. Because early on in our program, we knew that it was important to have somebody just to connect with. Sometimes a lot of the seniors we serve are very isolated and don't have family in the area or don't know their neighbors anymore even, and things have just changed a lot.
Right.
So they're just lonely, and sometimes just a touch once a week just to say, hey, how are you, what's happening with you this week is just so important, and they look forward to it. And what we try to do is match a single volunteer with that person so they can build a bond and build a relationship over time. What I came to learn was a lot of the people that we serve, that we help, our care receivers is what we call them, want to give back so bad, but they can't drive anymore, they can't perform tasks for people. But they can sure pick up the phone and make a phone call. So a great many of our phone call volunteers are actually care receivers who are returning the favor for someone else.
So a volunteer might drive them to their doctor's appointment, but in turn they might make a phone call to someone else.
That's exactly right.
I love that.
So you have a care receiver helping a care receiver, and they don't even know, but they're both benefiting greatly from the process. So
paying it forward.
It's absolutely, and it's just so cool. It's a cool, and I was really surprised that telephone reassurance calls quickly became our second most requested service as we got going in 2014, and transportation far and away number one. But the phone calls, I mean, that just goes to show you the level of isolation and loneliness that is out there. It's pervasive.
Because they're not online.
That's right.
They're not doing email, and they're not texting.
That's right.
They're picking up
and they're
the
not
phone.
getting out in the community. You know, seniors who live in a senior high-rise or in a congregate setting like that, they have community if they want it. It's available to them. There might be bingo, or there might be, birthday parties and things like that. These folks who are in their own homes that they've been in for 58 years or 40 years or whatever the case may be, they just don't have that. And
right.
so we try to fill those gaps and try to make that happen for them.
So 4 years ago, you're sitting there having a cup of coffee thinking, I'm not busy enough, let me start an organization. Like, how did that all come about?
Well, it was really it was very organic. I was actually working at the Alzheimer's Association, and they called me the office mom. I just did whatever they needed me to do, but I also answered the phone a lot, and I was on the front lines with these families who would call in, and they were just desperate for services, and it got really frustrating for me not to be able to have places to send them that I knew that they were going to get served. I might send them somewhere and they'd be 600 on a waiting list, or something like that. So I just started thinking, I thought, we can't be the only community with this problem. We can't be, West Virginia is an aging state, and we're aging rapidly, as you're probably well aware. One of the statistics that I've learned since I've been doing this that really blows me away, and I can't repeat it often enough, 71 West Virginians turn 65 every single day, and that will not abate until 2025.
Turn 65?
Yes.
Okay, wow.
So we are aging rapidly. We are currently the second oldest state in the country. That's going to change very soon. And I just don't feel like we're ready. And I feel like it's going to take innovative programs like Faith in Action, that is a neighbor to neighbor, neighbor helping neighbor program to successfully address some of the issues that we're going to face.
Wow, yeah, you're absolutely right.
It's a little mind-blowing.
So how does Faith in Action differ from some of the other organizations? Because there are a lot of organizations providing services for seniors. And they're doing a great job.
Yes, they do, and we are not in competition with them.
Right.
There is enough work for all of us, trust me.
I'm sure there is.
And in fact, we by design exist to complement the services that they offer. So we get referrals from those programs every day. People that they know that they can't serve, or people that need services faster than they're going to be able to get them to them, things like that. So we work together really well. How we differ is that we do not accept any state or federal funding. We've never even applied for it and never intend to, because I feel like that is part of the reason why their eligibility requirements are so strict and strident, and that they can't be very flexible. What I love about the way we do things is that I can get a call from somebody who is getting evicted and needs help moving into an apartment tomorrow or next week, and I can corral volunteers, I can rent a U-Haul, I can be flexible enough to help make that happen for somebody. Whereas if I was with an agency and I was working with federal or state dollars, that would not be possible.
So you mentioned transportation in the phone calls. We've mentioned this. Tell me what other services you provide.
Another very valuable service is grocery shopping. And we do that on a monthly basis with folks. We can either go with them, for them, or we can drop them off and pick them up and help them in with their groceries, whatever they prefer or need. Our services are largely aimed at taking care of things that are obstacles from staying in your own home. So if you can't get to your doctor's appointments, you're not going to be in your own home very long. You're going to be in the hospital, and then you're going to be in a nursing facility, and it's just going to progress from there. Or you're going to go living with a family member. If you're lonely, and you don't have any outside connection, that can be a health problem. That can lead to health problems. So ergo the phone calls and the friendly visits. If you can't get access to food to eat and good nutrition, that can be another obstacle from staying in your own home. So grocery shopping is very important. Right now we only do that monthly because I don't have enough volunteers to do it every week for people there's so many people who want the service. But it's a great way for my volunteers who work full-time to participate, because you can do that evenings and weekends with somebody. The seniors don't care. They don't care when you go. So that's a great way for people who hear about the program and say, man, I'd really love to be involved, but I can't be dropping people to their doctor's appointments in the middle of the day.
Right. Don't
worry, I've got a job for you.
So you have something called Honeydew Cruise,
yes.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
I need a honeydew cruise. Tell me about the honeydew cruise.
And the thing that's great about Faith in Action to me is that these programs just happen so organically. It's such a cool way. So I went to visit a woman in Bell, West Virginia, did an intake visit with her, and she met me at the door with a legal pad that had 2.5 pages of things on it that she needed done around her house. And I said, well, Mary, we don't do things like that. And she needed her refrigerator moved so she could sweep under it. She needed her patio furniture stored. She needed a picture hung, a shower curtain hung, things that she just wasn't able to do herself. She said, I used to keep this list on my kitchen table, and my husband would come in and mark them off as he got them done, and I'd just keep adding to the bottom. And she said, we did that for years, but he passed away 8 months ago. She said, I can't do these things myself. I certainly can't afford to pay somebody to do them. She said, I don't even know my neighbors to ask them to help me. How am I supposed to get these things done? And I said, well, Mary, I think you just started a new Faith in Action program, and lo and behold, the Honeydew Cruise were born.
You know what I find sometimes, even when I visit, I change a lot of overhead light bulbs.
Yes, absolutely.
And I get how that's hard for somebody.
Rheumatoid arthritis, people can't.
Climbing on the ladder, the chair, yeah.
So we don't do major construction projects, but we do minor yard work, things that will keep the home looking like somebody lives there, like somebody's capable, things that keep people safe and comfortable in their homes.
So we've talked a lot about your volunteers. I know that they're drivers, they're the Honeydew crew, they're taking people to doctor's appointments. where do you find volunteers? And I think you need an army of
We
volunteers.
do need an army of volunteers. And, you know, a lot of people live Faith in Action. A lot of people take care of senior neighbors or take care of their senior family members. And so a lot of people live it every day, and I fully understand that. But there's also a whole world of people out there who don't have anybody capable of living it for them. So we do need a ton of volunteers, and we recruit them all the time, everywhere. We go to churches and speak. We go to organizations and clubs and speak. We very active on Facebook and social media. We have our fundraising events are geared toward younger audiences, actually, so that we can engage them with Faith in Action and let them know what we're about. With just so many different ways we try to engage the community at large, and it does require an army.
And I know that your volunteers do go through some training.
They do.
And you have a couple of those trainings coming up, is that
Yes.
right?
They're all required to go through a background screen, fill out an application, and come to an orientation training. They can be done in any order that you want, but in fact, I encourage people to come to a training, learn what we're all about before you go through the other two steps. We have one coming up January 8th at 6 o'clock at St. Albans Public Library. Everyone is welcome. You don't need to sign up. You just show up, bring a friend.
And that's January 8th at St. Albans Public Library.
That's correct.
Okay.
And then we have one January 22nd at Christ Church United Methodist in downtown Charleston, the big Gothic church on Coyer Street. That one is also at 6 o'clock. And again, these are open to the public. Anyone can attend. No sign up required. It's no fee. It's free to come. We would love to have you.
That's great. And I know another thing that you do, and I guess you're probably just finishing it up at this point, is the Senior Christmas Bureau.
Senior Christmas is great, and I could talk to you about that for an hour, but basically there have been nearly 100 volunteers involved in providing some holiday joy to 75 seniors in Kanawha and Putnam County. Just past Saturday we had our delivery elf pickup day, so the people picked up the gifts and the stockings and the hats and scarves and glove sets that we provided for everybody, and it's just such a joyous thing. We have people volunteer to knit the hats and scarves from Health South. It was amazing. Health Smart. It was amazing. We had people donate stuff for the stockings, for 75 stockings to be stuffed. We had an angel tree that Salvation Army put up for us at the Town Center Mall, and there were over 52 angels on that tree, and they all got adopted 100%. We had everything from microwaves to winter coats to sheet sets. You just wouldn't.
It's great.
It's
and I love it
amazing.
because everybody came together. All the different
It took 100
organizations.
different people and all different phases and made it happen.
To play Santa. I love that. And quickly, I want to touch on a fundraiser that you have coming up on March 6th, Sweet Charity,
For a
which
little
I
bit
think
of
is near and dear to my heart, with
So a
desserts.
little breaking news. This is our 4th annual Sweet Charity, and we have a date now. It's March 6th, and it's going to be at the Columbia Pipeline Group Auditorium, now Trans-Canada Auditorium. I'm not sure quite what to call it these days. I think it's Trans-Canada Auditorium. But it's a wonderful dessert competition. Tickets are $25. You come, you eat, you sample, you vote, and it's
You
just
have celebrity judges and
celebrity-
celebrity chefs showing
have
off their creations.
some of the best bakers and chefs in the valley come and participate, and some of these tables that they set up are just, you wouldn't believe the effort and the creativity that goes into what they bring to the competition. And it's all in good fun. I mean, it's not anything serious. It's just a good time. Raises a bunch of money for us to be able to do the work we do, and I invite everybody to attend. You'll be able to find the information on our website very soon.
Okay, so that's Sweet Charity, the dessert fundraiser coming up on March 6th.
Yes.
I guess we should talk about how people can find out information about your organization and ways that they can sign up or
Sure.
contact you if they have questions about
The
volunteer.
very best thing I can do is send you to my website. It's an excellent website. It's got tons of information.
And that's faithinactiongkv.com.
Correct.
Right? And they can check social media.
Absolutely, we're all over it.
Jennifer, thank you so much for being here.
Thank
I love
you.
learning about Faith in Action of Greater Kanawha Valley.
Come
good luck
to a
in the
training where
future.
you put you to work.
Oh no, I'm challenged. Thank you guys so much for joining us. This has been Community Connections, brought to you by the Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation. We'll see you next time.